This stage right here is called Dream On, Stage 6. Its time is 14:32. I had 24 alphas, 4 Charlie, 1 Delta, and my hit factor was 9287. So this specific stage was crazy because you could have, there was probably 6 or 7 different plans or ways to shoot this stage, and that is a sign of a great stage plan or design, because you make everybody think. I gotta tell you, that was probably the busiest stage for walkthroughs that I've been to in a long time. I mean, everybody was on that stage, walking that thing multiple times for multiple minutes. So a couple of big things about this stage for me. And I talked about it earlier on 2 stages ago about running backwards over the same footsteps. This was that stage. I watched a couple of people stage plan this, and I had a couple of conversations with some grandmasters or some really good shooters, and I just hated their stage plans. I just didn't like it for me, the way I felt that stage needed to be shot. To me, the key to this stage was to be moving and shooting, right? And it's not easy because you start on a hard lean. I could have moved and shot. A lot of guys started in the back left and then worked their way up to the right and then ran back to the left. So again, you're covering your same ground twice, guys. This is what I was talking about. If I would have started on my left, ran to my right, then ran up, then ran back, then ran across, I just covered the same ground on all of the stage twice. I mean, I would have had, whatever it was from left to right, 15 yards, I would have had to go back 15 yards. When I ran up this is an 8-foot fault line, so I ran up 8 feet and ran back 8 feet. I mean, those are all time lost. That is all time lost because you ran over the same footsteps twice. Remember that when you walk stages. That is something that I do all the time when I walk stages. How do I save footsteps, right? How do I save that time? It's huge. So, big thing on this stage. Let's get into this bad boy. Big thing on this stage. The key to this stage to me was the front left, and we'll get into that in a minute. But that's why I decided to shoot this stage the way I did. So I wanted to start in the front right. There was a hard lean here that I did not want to go to second because it would make me drag my gun instead of keep my gun over my face. I wanted to keep my gun over my left shoulder so that when I entered, I didn't have to turn my body the whole way to shoot this guy right here in the open on the right-hand side. So I leaned out on the first one and I took about 2 or 3 feet back. Right? So most everybody went to the very far front corner. Because if you went to the far front corner, it wasn't as hard of a lean. But to me, I wanted the harder lean because of this second guy. I wanted to shift over and immediately back out shooting him so I could leave that position. Okay? I didn't want to have to stop. I wanted to back out and get the hell out of there and get to my last position. So let's go ahead and run it. So you'll see the lean now. See, I take that step, my second shot on that target, I'm leaving that target. Okay, so I got 2 alpha on the draw and the hard lean. Then I back out, get 2 alpha on that guy. That was key to this stage to me because I started it off quickly. I got in and out of those 2 targets really fast. Now, I'm leaving that position, okay, and I never have to cover that ground again, ever. I'm done with that ground. I'll never see that ground again. I've already shot that position, right? So this is why I like to run. This is what made me run backwards this way. If you look, the gun is over my left shoulder. So as I turn, all I have to do is roll my shoulder into the gun. My left hand is never left the handguard. I'm ready to shoot immediately when I turn around. All I have to do is put my finger in the trigger and let it rip. Okay? So as I turn, I shoulder the gun, bang. Now, good old trigger freeze on this bad boy, trying to rush it. So I had trigger freeze here, but I was still in the position because I was controlled. All right, that's key. I never took the gun down. I stayed on it, bang, little delay, bang. But I was more worried about leaving than I was focusing on that target. Luckily, I got 2 alpha on this guy, and I didn't sweep it or shoot any mics or anything, but I was really focused on this stage. I don't know what it was, but I guess I just knew it was burn it down or nothing because I wanted the high overall on this match. I know that sounds weird. I mean, some people don't care about that stuff, but if you're a true competitor, HOA with any gun matters. Okay, that's just the way I think. That's just me personally. I love the challenge of beating major scoring factor. It's hard. Those guys, it's tough. Pistol transitions better than PCC. There's a lot of advantages to having a pistol over a PCC. We have our advantages as well with PCC, but you know, they're different. It's different kind of transitions. I have less recoil to deal with. I have lots of bullets. So there's lots of pluses and negatives for both things. But definitely that scoring factor is a huge thing on trying to beat those guys. And it's fun to chase that down. It's a lot of fun to chase that down. You got to shoot a lot of alphas. You got to shoot fast and you got to move fast. So, all right, guys, let's get to the next position. So as I come into this position, I want to show you something. Let's get back here just a hair and I'm going to show you. Look what I did. I have my eyes down on the spot that I need to go to. And the reason I did that specifically on this stage, all right? Well, and you can see I'm still looking at it, all right? I'm still looking at that position because I needed my left foot to enter that position with my toes in bounds. I could not have my heel on the ground or I'm going to get a procedural. The other thing that's really important about this specific position was that this wall was in my way. And having a rifle, I wasn't able to bring the gun up and turn it without running into that wall. So I had to run around to the left-hand side a little bit, give myself that space, and then hit that corner as fast as I could. Now, as you'll see, I can't have my gun up either until it's last second because of the way the wall angled me. I would have DQ'd. So I had to angle the gun to my right as I pick it up. And as I enter with my left foot, I knew I was clear of the target and I was ready to go. I was clear of the 180 and I was ready to shoot. So you can kind of see here, let me back it up just a little bit. If you see, I kind of attack this. I move it from left. I go from my left-hand side. You see how I kind of went left a little bit? So that way, as I picked the gun up, I could attack the target. And I didn't have to worry about DQing with the 180. All right, that's important, guys. That's how you go fast on risky targets, is you angle your body the proper way. So as I entered, I wasn't entering straight at the target. I was entering from behind the target from downrange. It's really hard to DQ when you enter from downrange and your gun's in front of you, okay? Remember that, it's really important. So as I come in, I lift up on my toe, okay? So that I'm not on the ground, because that was going to be one of those really fast stages or positions where you could easily get a footfall if you didn't time that correctly. So I shoot those two, get out of there. Now here's where the stage is won or lost, in my opinion. This is where I won this stage. I was lucky enough to win this high overall with all those guys that shot this that were really, really good. I was able to luckily win this stage. I just flowed through this stage really quickly, and it was because of this front left corner. So you had to shoot these two guys here, this guy, as I entered. So as I came in, I knew that the key to this stage, well, at least I was hoping that I was going to be right, was there was an open target here, open target, steal, open target, open target, open target, and then this guy tucked behind the wall where you could not see him. All right, you could not see that target until you got into this far left corner. So the goal for me was to get in there, shoot that stuff all while I'm moving. So technically I'm not stopping at all, right? My body was moving the entire time from right to left, and I'm moving myself into the next position. So the key to this corner, guys, we've talked about this on all the other stages as well, was that piece of steel. If I sweep that steel and I miss and I don't trigger prep, this stage is not mine to win anymore. Somebody else takes this stage for sure. But because I was able to sweep through there and hit that steel quickly, that's what gave me the win on this stage. So go through, steel, paper, and now if you look, let's go back just a little bit. So you're gonna see as I go through this, I go steel, paper, and immediately take this guy over here in the corner, okay? For two reasons. One, I was right there on the transition. I didn't have to look for it. I didn't have to fight for it. My gun was just basically naturally transitioned right into it. The other reason was if I didn't shoot him right away, all right, and I decided to just run straight at it, I'm getting a DQ because, in my opinion, now the RO said if you can see the target, it's not a DQ. But where I was standing, I just felt like I was going to get a DQ in that corner. So I made sure that that gun stayed downrange after that target. I was no way in hell taking a chance to shoot 9 stages and DQ on something small like that. That was a big deal. So again, if you watch, I sweep through it. See the gun staying downrange, take that side step, and then all I do is plant my foot on that target on the inside, and I get out of there. So again, it's pushing me out of bounds, so I had to do a little drop step there to get out of there. So again, if you're falling out of bounds or you're falling away from the direction you want to go, a drop step's the thing to use at that point. You can't just push off on your leg. If all your momentum is taking you away, it's very hard to get that momentum back without a drop step, turn those hips. And again, key guys, I turned those hips. I turned my hips and started moving and getting down range fast. Got up to the end here and just finish it off. All right, everybody, that was the Georgia State Championship from 2020. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you have any questions, hit me up. Feel free to, if you're not part of the Tom Castro Shooting Academy private group, go ahead and sign up for that. Hit me up on Facebook on there. It's Tom Castro Shooting Academy. I also have a paid group. It's the Tom Castro Shooting Academy Insider Circle. That right there, guys, I go into major details on moving and shooting. I break down a stage every week. I break down drills every week. I do a Mindset Monday. I break into our minds a little bit about how I have to think about this sport, those kind of things. There's a lot of stuff in this sport, guys, that doesn't have to do with just shooting. I talk about stage plans, how to attack stages. I do a lot of different stuff on that Insider Circle, and it's very exclusive. I don't share a lot of that stuff with everybody. There's a group of guys that are in there already that are members. If you have any questions, hit me up, and I'll see you on the range.